The 2014-15 school year was an especially difficult time. We lost 9 students, and we had several reports of sexual assault. How did the events of that year affect the way that administrators saw issues of student safety?
It has a giant ripple effect, I think, on our community. So as a campus, when we think about safety and safety issues, it certainly highlights that every student matters. Big things, little things that we do as a campus, it takes all of us to keep our students safe, to provide an environment for them, to have resources, to support one another, to connect in meaningful ways that certainly allow them to know they're not alone with any challenge they may have. And certainly when you think about that ultimate loss and losing one of the members of our community, it's powerful to think about that impact, and to me it's the heart of our safety concerns, and that's the worst thing that I certainly have navigated in my career.
You play a pretty large role when there are student deaths, correctly? How does the Dean of Students role go about that process?
In my role, I talk to each and every one of these families. So typically they're notified of their loss by local law enforcement, or it's a medical personnel in some capacity. And then I'm usually the first person at the university that speaks to them and offers our condolences as a university community. I serve as a point person for anything that they need in this journey. But it's hard. You think about this impact, and certainly for me personally as a parent, it has a real, it hits home, because that's your greatest gift, is your loved one and your child.
There was a lot of people that felt the silence from the university and administrators when these student deaths did occur, and it was somewhat hurtful to the campus. Why did the university keep quiet during these times?
I think that's one of the hard parts about student death and student loss. I mean, and I think about particularly as it relates to social media, an impact on social media and aspects on playing that out with rumors and different pieces. You know, we're certainly confined on what we can say and how we can say it, and particularly when is that family notified. To me, that's the #1 piece that we worried about, is when has that family been notified, and sometimes it takes a while to communicate and connect with a family member in that way and to get that confirmation. And then certainly that's when I reach out to those individuals. But a lot of people have questions about why. You know, why did this happen, or what happened, and certainly fair questions in terms of a loss. But there's a lot of questions we don't know. We could speculate, but I can't certainly comment on a speculation of what we think may have happened. The medical examiner is the only person that can really do the cause of death in particular, and as a policy, that's not something that we release as an institution. So it's walking a fine line of how do we support our students and how do we support our community, because students and you all want transparency, and we want to be transparent about pieces that happen, but there's also a lot of things that we can't say because we want to be respectful to that family, and we also don't want to speculate on something that we can't comment on for a number of different reasons. In the light of social media and all the different rumors that may be out there in different ways too.
The events of the 2014-15 school year were a shock to students as a whole regarding student deaths. Would you say that during that time the administration was prepared for this and knew exactly what to do and what procedures to carry out?
Anytime you lose a student and you think about a loss of a member of this community, it has an impact.
So was the student death policy revised or worked on after the 2014-15 school year?
Well, we had procedures in place and have had procedures and a protocol in place for a long time. We didn't have an official policy. So our official policy that's in our policy manual is new, and that was a direct outcome when we looked at our peer institutions that we needed. We needed a formal policy. In addition, we also needed to enhance our protocols, and that was twofold. One, we received a federal grant on suicide prevention, and we received this 3-year grant to train and educate on suicide prevention. And with that came the stipulation of you must have a student death policy and you must have a student death protocol. So some of these pieces were in the works. It was just really highlighted in the 2014-15 year that we needed to make this happen, and we had some work to do because of that challenging year.
Have you seen any positive effects thus far having that policy in there and having procedures in place?
It does. I think we're more intentional now with our protocol, with our postvention team, which is a new team that we've created. So we pull in a variety of individuals and think about the ripple effect. So who are members of our community that are impacted by a student death? So we pull in the department chair of which the student was majoring. We pull in colleagues from academic affairs, the counseling center. We pull in our dean of students team as well, and we talk through what happened, who is communicated. In this particular case, I communicate with those families, so I can report out on conversations with the family that may have taken place already and most likely has. And that's been a positive piece that's helped us grow because we're able to communicate more effectively and efficiently in a seamless way and have consistent information. Communication is a major change. For years here at Appalachian, we have sent a campus-wide email to all faculty, staff, and students anytime that we have lost a student. One of the pieces we think about the 2014-2015 year is we sent 9 of those messages out. And it had negative impact. It had negative impact on students that didn't know a student, and they felt guilty and were coming into the counseling center saying, I feel guilty that I didn't know this person. Here I am a part of this community and I didn't know them. What does that mean? And one of the pieces when we started researching our protocol and our policy is that we were the only school that was sending out a campus-wide message to all faculty, staff, and students. So we send out a message now as part of our process, but it goes to faculty in which the classes the student was enrolled, that immediate academic department where they were majoring, and then thinking about that ripple effect on maybe it's a residence hall floor, maybe it's certainly would involve roommates if they live on campus, if they're a member of a student organization, it would be that student organization and working with them. Where were those connection points for that student, and how do we make sure that we allow that community, that group to grieve, sign our memorial book, and support each other as a community through this loss.
So does the university feel that there are more negatives to being fully transparent on when there is a death of a student?
We saw that impact, and I think that's the thing that I struggled with, and philosophically I struggled with it in making that change. We talk about being a community, and we use that a lot here at Appalachian and what that means. I like the fact that we sent it out to the entire campus community, and I read the comments that people wrote in the student memorial book saying, I didn't know, this person, but they were a Mountaineer, and they'll always be a Mountaineer. And that's powerful when you think about what it means for community and how you grieve as a community together. So I struggled with this change, but I also know the impact that it has on students, and I saw that in the 2014-2015 year. And I don't want to have negative impact on students in that way either. So we've tried it. This is the first, we just finished the first year at which we've done it, and we're certainly always open to revising it and looking at it.